Hello and welcome to this episode of Speaking About Speaking. And as you can see from the screen here, I've got the lovely Shelley Röstlund with me. Hello, Shelley. How are
Hello,
you?
good. How are you?
Yes, all good. Today, we are going to be talking about Shelley's upcoming speaking gig. So we're both kind of going, ooh, because Shelley has trusted her 25 minutes with me, and we've been working together on what that talk will be. So for the next 30 minutes ish, we are going to be talking about what it's like to start preparing for a talk, how you might feel beforehand, how you would feel about going through that process of creating a talk and getting performance ready, and just in general how that would work. So if you're out there listening or watching, you are more than welcome to join us, not join on the screen, but certainly put in your comments or questions. So if you've got a question for me or for Shelley, then do ask there. And obviously same goes if you're watching on the replay. Please leave your comments and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I have to say, off the top, there we go. Hello to you both from Imogen. Hello, Imogen. Good to have you here. So, Shelley, you are a brand strategist. You are also a podcast host. Your podcast is Brand Compass, and I've been a guest on that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you are a sometimes speaker. So tell us a little bit about the sort of speaking experience you've had up until now.
Let's first say I have no problem being in front of the camera or in front of the mic. So I have no issues with that. As I described in a LinkedIn post yesterday, the issue I have with is a room with bobbing heads, right? Because I feel like I don't get interaction. But we'll talk a little bit about that because I was interested to hear your take on that. But my history with standing in front of a group of people on a stage, I've had two fairly big ones where they were existing clients and they had an annual conference and the people in the room were somewhere around the 250 to 300 mark, so not small. And while I know my topic and I'm fine once I get going, and it was more of an educational topic as opposed to an entertaining one, I have the anticipation beforehand, which I found unsettling and not enjoyable, number one. And number two, once I was on the stage, I almost just wanted to get it done and get off the stage. And then as soon as I got off the stage, that's when the blank trauma kicked in of actually not remembering at all what I said, then going into a flat spin and a panic of like, oh crap, I've just spent all this time with these people. Like I was a waste of time for them. Did I deliver value? All that kind of nonsense going on in my head. So those are the big, fairly, the biggish speaking. Since then, I've done, things for smaller bits for networking. I don't have too much of an issue with. I know pretty much most of the people in the room, fairly comfortable, and I kind of run them like interactive discussions. So I kind of feel calmer, but it's the bobbing heads in the dark with the big light on me.
Which I do understand, of course. It is enough to send people's butterflies a fluttering, just thinking about that, and that is something that's hard. So when you say blank trauma, it's not so much forgetting your lines or forgetting your words.
No,
me there, forgetting your lines, forgetting your words when you're on the stage, but it's forgetting the experience.
Completely forgetting the experience. So coming off, and I have no idea what I just said. I have no idea what went on, which I don't like. I don't like losing control, Jackie. So it feels like coming off and thinking, oh my goodness, like what just happened? And then I'd have to ask the people in the room, like, was that all right? Like, did I sound okay? Like, did I make sense? Feeling really bad that I didn't,
Yeah, there was that other thing of you being worried that you'd wasted people's time.
Yes, I don't like wasting people's time. I have a zero waste policy.
I mean, if there's anybody out there listening that can relate to this, please do comment, because
yes, please. I don't want to be alone.
Exactly, Shelley. You are not alone. These are feelings that everybody has. This is something that happens to whenever, including myself, come to speak to anybody. I would say in terms of getting on the stage and interacting, because it is, even though it's you on the stage and you're looking out at these bobbing heads and the light is there and it's shining in your eyes and you think, oh my God, I can't see anybody, what the hell's going on? There are people beyond that, and it is a two-way conversation. Even though the bobbing heads aren't speaking to you, there is interaction and there is feedback from them. You'll be able to feel them in the room. You'll be able to see the shapes and see the heads bobbing. Your job as the speaker is to engage them and speak with them, not speak at them. So as soon as you get onto stage, take the time to actually take in the fact that you're there. Don't just sort of get on and think, right, it's just, this is hellish, I'm going to get off as soon as I can and I'll just go through the motions. It's take the time to open yourself up to the audience and kind of smile and just take that moment to settle yourself into the space and then begin. And then as you're going along, take the pauses, take the moment to actually soak up what it is that the audience are understanding and what they're getting. So if you've got anything that you need to sort of land with them, if there's any points that you need for them to really take away, is give yourself the time to pause and listen. I mean, if you've got any ways that you can interact, then that's always great. And I would always say that before you get into a space, and I had this from Tom Morris, who's the American philosopher that was my first guest on this podcast last year. He's amazing and speaks on some huge stages. I mean, he's been on stages with all sorts of amazing people. And he said if he gets the chance, he'll get into the space beforehand and he'll just understand that for that 25 minutes, an hour that you're in that space, you're on that stage, it's your living room and you've invited these people into your house, into your home, and you kind of are the host. So if you can get yourself into that space where you're not there, you're not going to be wasting anybody's time because you've been asked to be there, you've been asked to be on that stage. So the person that's asked you to do that, in this case, Mark Masters and You Are the Media community, are going to be there. They're going to be supportive of you. As audience members, we don't want you to rattle through it because you think you're wasting our time, because that will be a waste of our time. We need to feel that you are relaxed and comfortable. And we want you to be the best that you can possibly be. We're on your side.
You've got your work cut out for you, Jackie.
No, I know that once we get in a room together, Shelley, and I start getting you going through your paces, that you will feel comfortable. You know these people that we're going into this. We won't know everybody, but who the audience
It's a comfortable.
are.
Yeah, I think it's important to start with a friendly crowd, isn't it? I think that's the bit that helps. I know a lot of the people that'll be there already. But what I did like was when you said to me in our first session, so for everyone listening, we've had 2 Zooms so far because I'm going through your framework for your 20-minute talks. And there was that bit where you said, actually, there is dialogue going on, because I do feel a lot of the time like, oh my goodness, I'm talking into a vacuum and I want some feedback. But it was helpful when you said, well, actually, there is dialogue going on. You might just not be able to hear them.
Yeah.
But actually, as you're talking through stories, they're digesting it and they're also trying to reflect it back to themselves. And actually, that was quite helpful as a reframe. Excellent. For me on that issue.
Thanks. I'm going to put Richard here on. Hello, Richard. He's put something here which is really relevant. There can be that feeling of relief when a stage performance is done. I remember that I thought my last one felt awful. A colleague of mine said, you just threw yourself into it and we had to try and match you. And I got a new client from it. So it can't have gone too badly. But yeah, if you throw yourself into it, you will get that feedback. You will sort of feel that the response that you're getting from the audience, it will be there. And Mark says, well done, Jackie, and hi, well said, Jackie, and hi, Shelley.
Thanks for trusting me, Mark.
All on your side. So everybody's on your side. And that's what you should remember, is that the audience don't want you to fail. So they're gonna be there on your side. They're going to be geeing you on, really sort of being behind you, because they want to have a good time too, and they will match whatever it is that you're feeling. If they can feel that you are uncomfortable or awkward, then that's what they'll feel.
Do you think they'll all come up on the stage and give me a hug?
If you ask them to, Shelley, they will.
Group hug, everybody. I think that a good thing to maybe bring up, Jackie, is the physicality of it all, because we everybody that's listened to your podcast or any time that you speak, you talk about breathing and voice control and all of that stuff as well. And I don't know if anybody else listening has the same issue, but that whole top breathing and more so holding my breath, because I don't even know I'm doing that a lot of the time. I think that also precipitates that anxiety and that increased heart rate and all of that. So I don't know if you want to talk through how you talked to me about that when we did our Zoom sessions. It might help.
Yeah. Well, no, absolutely. And it's, anyone that has done any work with me would know that the breathing is incredibly important, but it's something that you can't just turn up on the day and expect to be there. It's got to be something that you take on as a practice, as a regular practice, because that really deep, as you say, when we breathe to live, we use vegetative breath, which only fills the top of our lungs. So when you get on stage and the nerves kick in and the adrenaline kicks in, you automatically grasp for breath, but you're so used to only using the top part of your lungs that the air just isn't there to actually support your voice. So what you need to do is to really practice that belly breathing. And there is, I'll put it in the show notes. There's videos that I've done on belly breathing, which is using your diaphragm and really breathing right the way down into your belly. So taking a deep breath in so that you can feel your stomach expanding, like you're blowing up a balloon inside your body. So your shoulders don't move. You can't feel it. There's no strain up here. It's all down here in your belly. And when you breathe out, you control it as if you're pulling the neck of the balloon. And that way you're working out all of your breathing muscles. So you've got the muscles in between your ribs, your diaphragm, your abdominals, and even your vocal folds. Your vocal cords are muscles. So the more you do this practice, it will become muscle memory. So when you get on stage, you will automatically start breathing deeply, but also it's a way of really working out those muscles and just strengthening your voice and making sure you've got enough breath to support your voice when you're on stage. So that is really, really important. And just before getting on stage, if you're sitting in an audience or in the wings waiting to go on, then just doing a sort of a nice circle breath or box breathing, where you breathe in for 4, hold your breath for 4, breathe out for 4, hold your breath for 4. And if you can just do that while you're sitting waiting to go on, that really brings all of those butterflies into formation, and it really focuses your mind and calms down your whole central nervous system. So yeah, breathing is incredibly important.
Yes, definitely. And also the muscles that you were talking about, because you also showed me the examples of, because I clench quite a lot and I grind my teeth. Well, I used to grind my teeth quite a bit when I was young, but the tightness in my jaw and my throat.
Yeah.
Imogen says she remembers us doing breath exercises last year's You Are the Media. Yeah, I think all of those we don't think about the exercises to speak, if you like.
Quite right. Yeah. I mean, just yawning, that was just taking in it not only fills your lungs with breath when you do that really big over exaggerated yawn. The reason we do it is to fill our lungs with oxygen, because when we're tired we kind of shallow breathe and we lose that. So a yawning exercise also opens up your throat and just gives you your whole kind of space to fill with air, but also exercising your mouth and stretching and doing all of those, doing your jaw and really getting into those muscles as well, and warming up to get rid of all of that tension. So should we talk about my my teenage limiting belief
about
I would like
speaking?
to, yes. Tell me about your teenage limiting belief, because I think lots of people have them, and a lot of people's nervousness around speaking goes right the way back to childhood. So
Yeah.
please tell us about that.
Yeah. So everybody listening, I did not realize this until I started working with Jackie, and it just came into my head. And basically, I just have it that I'm not funny. And then in order to speak, you need to be funny in my head, right? This was what I was telling myself. And I was trying to work out, like, why is that? Look, most of my speakers that I really love to see on stage, they are humorous, they are witty, they do make me giggle. So I do like that. So maybe that was part of it. But I realized that when I was a teenager, in high school, we had in South Africa, we had what we called house plays. You're divided up into houses, right? And you'd have house plays. So you'd have your actors, you'd have your script and whatever it is you could do. And I was directing the play. And obviously the director has an influence over, how the story gets told and in what manner. And we decided to go like a comical manner of this Shakespearean play. And when it got down to actually performing it, it fell so flat. I mean, I thought it was hilarious, but nobody else did. So I think in that time, like when I was working, well, actually, Jackie, I don't know if it's whether we were working together yet or whether we were talking about it on my podcast. No, maybe it was that, because we were talking and I was like, oh, I just have it that I'm not funny. And this is why, because, I thought it was funny. We delivered this play when I must have been 15 or something like that. And I just fell flat. And I think something in my brain that just went, you're not funny. You shouldn't be on a stage. This is a public service announcement. Shelley, you are not funny. Stay away. And it kind of stayed with me,
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it, what we hold on to? And you've just demonstrated by telling that story that you are full of humor, and you are, it's just, but that's we don't need to try and be funny. We just have to be authentically storytellers, authentic storytellers, and that's what's humorous. Our lives are humorous, whether we like it or not, and if you tell a story, then you draw people in, and automatically your voice and your vocal variety changes, and you're telling a story that you found funny, so it makes you smile, and as I say, the audience will mirror you. So you don't need to sort of say, right, well, I'm going to do this and it's going to be funny. It's not necessarily the words you use, but it's the way you tell it, basically. If you're
it's a common human experience, isn't it? So when we have been working together on which parts of my stories do we tell on stage, some of them are sad, but some of them are funny, and some of them are just ironic because everybody feels the same thing. So sometimes it's actually just being a human. There's a commonality, and everyone will go, "Yep, that's me."
Yeah,
what you said right there, that's me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The best comedians are the storytellers, aren't they? They're not the ones that just kind of deliver jokes. That some can be funny, but it's generally the storytellers, the ones that are observational. They're talking about what they've seen around them and their own experiences, and that's where the humor is. And that's really the more authentic, the more natural you can be. I mean, I know this from teaching people acting, or if they're improvising. When they're trying too hard, they block themselves. They kind of their minds go blank because they're trying to be funny. They're trying to impress. Yeah, so they're trying too hard. So it's just about being as open and as authentic as you possibly can be in your storytelling, and talking from the heart, really. What it goes back to.
Should we tell everybody why I wanted to work with you too? Why I felt I needed a Jackie? Why did I need a Jackie in my life?
Well, I'm feeling the tables are turning here, Shelley. You're turning into the podcast host. So yes, ask me some questions, Shelley.
Yeah, no. Well, I think because of those past experiences, which we opened with at the beginning. One, I like Mark and I like the community. I love the previous event. So it's about the event as well that I was like, okay, I'm up for giving this a go. But I think the reason why I wanted to work with you, well, one, I'd seen you and I'd connected with you already, and I was seeing what you were doing with everybody. But I felt like, you know what, I want to do this, but I want to do it in a way that I can be comfortable, number one, that I can enjoy it, and I want to be able to remember it. I want to come off the stage and actually go, you know what, I quite enjoyed, I remember standing there and I remember saying those things and listening to the audience. I'd really like to be able to walk away knowing I've had that experience. Do you know what I mean? Not of my blank trauma.
Yeah. And I think that's absolutely why people should work with a coach. Sometimes everybody can speak, so they automatically think that getting on a stage or getting in front of an audience and speaking should be easy, and actually there's lots of different layers to make it an enjoyable experience. And that's what you want, isn't it? You want to be able to enjoy it, because you get so many opportunities from speaking. I mean, tell me what outcomes you would like from having done this,
the talk.
Yeah.
One first is really selfish, is one, I actually want to enjoy doing it because I love my subject. I love what I talk about, but I just want to enjoy the experience of being on the stage and sharing it in this way, because it's going to be a different way, because the way you're working with me and the way you're coaching me through is very good, but it's bringing out things I wouldn't think of to bring into a talk. So for everybody listening, if you're thinking of doing a 20-minute talk and that might lead to a TED talk eventually, there's a different way to approach it, and you're doing a really great job with me. So I think you're already pulling out things that I wouldn't ordinarily be talking about, because I might do a little bit of what I tell people not to do and hide. But we're not going to do that. So that outcome is I want to enjoy it, and the other outcome is I really want to be able to demonstrate the example of what it is I'm going to be talking about to the audience, so they realize what's possible for them. I mean, I'm not a magical rescue dog story. That's not what the talk's about. But there's a lot that we all hold ourselves back on. And I feel like if I did share enough, it might unlock something for somebody else. So it'd be nice if someone does walk away going, you know what, that actually made me think.
Yes. Yeah. And exactly what Mark has asked you to talk about and what your subject matter is exactly what the process that we're going through, isn't it? Really, is really getting people to really show up as themselves. And tell us a little bit about the talk.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking a bit about, should we talk about what Mark saw and that why he got this idea?
Yeah, whatever you want to talk about.
Okay, I'm not too sure. But for anybody who's not watching the video and is listening back on the podcast, go back and watch the video. But basically, I got diagnosed with alopecia in 2013, about a year after my wedding. Luckily, I got to have my hair for my wedding, but I lost all my hair over a period of 2 to 3 weeks. And to be honest, I didn't ever want to be that, bald girl goes brave and becomes a stand for blah, blah, blah. That's not, for me, it was a very big identity crisis around, that's not what I want to be known for. I've got a brain, I've got all this intellect and knowledge. I want to be known for that. I don't want to be known for that. So it was a big internal fight for me over 10 years, really, of how much of it I wanted to share. So people in my life knew, my clients knew and whatnot, because I used to do board presentations, big training sessions, stand up in front of people, and I lost my hair. But on Instagram last year, I did a little video because I thought, okay, I'm going to start doing this, but in small ways that I feel comfortable doing it. And I did a video that just kind of showed people what I have to, how I get ready in the mornings, because I'm a blank canvas every morning. I have to draw my eyebrows on, put my eyelashes on, put my wig on. All of this is I had to make a face. I had to create a new normal face. So I think Mark saw that. And then other content that I've seen Mark's watching. So you could tell me, Mark, if this was all of it. And I think part of it was, I think what triggered for him was this element of, wouldn't it be nice if all of us did actually share what goes on behind the scenes, and we're not always so professional or decide we have to be in a certain way when we're sharing on social media or even going networking. People wear masks going to networking. So what we decided to do for our talk between you and me when we were bashing this out a bit is talk more about this concept of trying to be more of you, more of the time. And because I'm a brand strategist, that's a lot of the work that we do anyway. So in terms of personal branding, it's just pull out all of these dimensions of you, work out what you're comfortable to share, and then just try and be more of you more of the time. So that's what we're going to lean into for Creator Day.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to it, and looking forward to the reaction from other people, because I think
And I won't be throwing my wig off at the end of the talk. That is not going to be the dramatic end.
Everybody, but no, she won't go for that. I don't know why. But no, it's brave, and this is the other thing that I sometimes like to find out from people is why put yourself through this, and why do you think it's important for other people to not to be vulnerable, to put themselves in a vulnerable position when they are speaking to an audience, either showing up authentically or standing on a stage? Why are you putting yourself through this?
I think because ultimately, and we know this all, people by people, right? And if we are distorting that image of what actually people get to experience or perceive of you, and you are distorting it by not sharing more of yourself, it's just going to take, especially if you're self-employed or you're a professional looking for work or any of those kinds of things, it's just going to take that much longer for people to really get to know you. We live in a digital economy, so I'm talking about offline as well as online, but you do need to think really hard. What are the parts of me as a person that I'm more than happy to share? What are the bits of my personality? Because it is important. AI is coming, people. They're coming for you. And the only thing that's going to make you unique is the fact that you're human. So you really, really need to lean into how much can I share more? And obviously there's a professional element. Just remember, I'm not talking about being a hot mess on social media. That's not what I mean. I'm just saying, don't just talk about the work. Don't just talk about how great you are at what you do, the thing that you do. There's other parts to you that people are interested in, and that will help people decide that you are the one that they want to work with or work for. And I think it's important that we do it. Yeah, because the robots, they're coming.
Yeah. No, you're right there. And it's something that Mark Masters actually does talk about quite a lot, is that, and when he came on to this podcast for that conversation, it was about the fact that when you're stood on a stage, AI can't do that. They can't connect with the audience in that way. So that kind of goes back to how you felt before when you stood on the stage and come off and not remembered any of it. You could have been a robot doing that. What we want to get you to is that you are a human being on that stage, enjoying the experience, and so that the audience are going on that journey with you, which AI can't do. We all know that.
And I didn't share anything personal. So in those talks, they were to be fair, they were very specific, and they were educational around a topic. And at that time it was, Facebook marketing. So I didn't, other than the way I might dress and come on stage and talk to people there was no other articulation of the personal me, really. So I'm hoping with your help, what happens at Creator Day is going to be a bit more of me as well, and maybe that does make me more comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, as you say, we are only 2 Zoom calls in to our process.
We are, exactly. Yes, we're only halfway.
And we've got a day in a room coming up, which I'm really looking forward to. So, how, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much better now do you feel now that we've done some work together than before? I mean,
I think I feel even better after we've had the time in person, but from the 2 that we've done, I can already see the shape of things. So I think I'm like a 7 out of 10, whereas before I was kind of like should I be doing this, around a 4 to 5. So I'm hoping by the time we've done the in-person, I'll be 8 to 9, and then I'll be in my practice runs hopefully after that.
Yeah. So what we'll do when we get in the room is just really listen to what it is, and I will sit there as an audience member and really kind of make sure that I understand what you're saying, and then we can work on the sort of the performance stuff and the breath, and getting you sort of to a state where you can go away and practice on your own and know that you're practicing in the right way. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That will be fun. That's my favorite bit, is to get in a room with people and get them moving, and because it's all about the energy as well. And once you get into a room with people, you can really play with that energy. Well, Shelley, we're coming to the end of our 30 minutes. So if anybody's got any questions, any comments, then do put them in there. But I will just should we have a look? We'll have a look at the. Shelley, you are a podcast host, so I'm going to show that brand compass. I was going to say compost. That's why I was looking at that saying.
No,
compost.
That's a whole different show.
So I was a guest on yours, so that's yours, brand compass, and people will be, I think, surprised that you are not overly confident on a stage, because you come across so confidently as a podcast host and
I'm
on
safe
a
in my room with my camera and my mum.
Yeah. But so many people, it's almost the other way around for them, that they feel more confident in a room with people than they do talking to a camera, because they don't know who's watching, they don't know who's out there, they don't know where to look or how to act. You see, you're obviously the opposite way around.
I'm the opposite way around. I don't mind working one-to-one and in workshops and stuff. Like I said, the interactive stuff I'm fine with. Yeah, it's just this dark room, bobbing headlights.
I'll come with a
spotlight so we can practice.
We'll practice that. But if anybody's got any questions for Shelley, would like to find out more about what Shelley does, there's her website, ShelleyRöstlund.com. So go and have a look. And if anybody would like to see Shelley in action, then book at the Creator Day. The You Are the Media Creator Day is on the 25th of April in Poole. So do come and join us there. It's going to be a fabulous day with lots of amazing speakers alongside Shelley. So do come along there. And if you have any questions for me, then go to powertospeak.co.uk. Brilliant. Oh, well, thank you so much for your time today, Shelley. It's been absolutely lovely having you on and talking about your experience and how you're feeling. And I'll have
to come back afterwards.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's it's compulsory. You need to come back afterwards.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but I look forward to seeing you on the 8th of March.
Yes, lovely. Thank you.
In real life. And as I say, if you're watching the replay or listening on audio, do send some comments, questions, anything you want to ask. Then we're here to answer those questions. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, because I could really use your eyes on the videos that are coming up, the podcasts that are coming up. So thank you very much for being here, and I'll see you next week. Bye.
Okay.